Okay, so I have prepared my face. If you want to see what skincare I use before my makeup, I will link it here. I've just done a video not long ago. And I've also applied my Laura Mercier Radiance Primer. I didn't include it in this favorites because that's the only primer I really use, if I use one at all. Okay, so my favorite foundation for February was the C.Y.O long-lasting foundation, life-proof long-lasting foundation. I've reviewed this foundation. I absolutely love it. I'm amazed for £7 that it's so good. Like I said, it needs a bit more colors. So I'm going to mix 107 with 109. Okay, concealer. I've got two, the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter and the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I use most of the time this one because this one is very light, so but I love them both as concealers. I've bought them in different colors as well, but the other colors are for summer, so I still use that one. I sometimes will mix them, but I use this one more lower down for highlighting. This concealer is just amazing, you know, for mature eyes, any eyes really. It has good coverage, doesn't crease, it doesn't dry out my under eye area. I just love it. So I always pat it in first with my finger, and then I will go over with a sponge. I quite like using this sponge for this. You know, this is the velvet sponge. I forgot the name of it, but everything will be in a description box, because this sponge doesn't have that much water and doesn't absorb the makeup. I sometimes even like using it dry if I want most of the product to stay on my skin. So I quite like it for that. I like it for some foundations as well. It's just, you have to experiment, you know, different tools perform differently with different products. I don't really feel I need any more concealer, but I just show you with the Born This Way because it's very light, it's in vanilla. You know, I've got quite good coverage now from my foundation, but if I didn't, I go probably like lower here just to highlight this portion of my face. Can you see it's quite highlighting? Yeah, it depends what color foundation I've got on. You know, if I've got very pale foundation on, then I can use this on its own. It's all just down to color, but other than that, I absolutely love it. So pat it in properly so it doesn't settle in your lines. Now for the powder to set under my eyes, this Fenty Beauty powder, it's just everything. It makes everything so flawless and airbrushed. I start lower down, so most of the powder goes lower, not right under my eye. I powder, as you've seen, I put the concealer on my eyelids. That's like my eyelid primer, and then I powder it all. And I also make sure that I powder my eyebrow area, because that makes your pencil stick better to, you know, stops your pencil from sliding when you're doing your brows. By the way, the headbands I'm wearing two are the square headbands. I will leave you the link down below. These are amazing and so comfortable because they are hinged, so they are like sunglasses, and they are just so comfortable, and they come in so many fabulous colors. I have to go back in my videos because I think I have a discount code for those, so I'm not affiliated with them, I don't get any commission, but I think I've got a discount code. Okay, and next, I know you very rarely see me doing proper contour or cream contour, but I bought in February the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand and Contour Wand, and mine is in, I think, light fair medium, which you'll see that is not really light, but it's for my type of skin. And then there's highlighter in Spotlight. So I've only powdered under my eyes because obviously you can't apply cream on top of powder, so I didn't powder anywhere else. I take this wand. You have to remember to turn it to open it. I've been loving it. Can you see how dark that looks? But it blends out beautifully. Be careful with here near your forehead because it can get really dark. Well, too much, and it looks a bit unnatural on your forehead. I take a little quite dense brush. You can do it with Beauty Blender, but I find that like just patting motions work the best, so it doesn't disturb my foundation. And I just buff it sort of that way and up. It's a beautiful color. It blends in so nicely because I'm not really into like the proper cream contours, but I think this is so easy, and look how beautifully that blends out without disturbing my foundation. And then I'm going to do my forehead towards my hairline. I just do these bits because that's where my forehead is the biggest, the Mickey Mouse forehead, as I call it. Remember, you only want to contour what you want to push back and hide. So I don't like to contour here. I see people contour here, but with age, can you see how my temples sort of sinking in? So if I put contour here, they will look sunk in even more. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the Laura Mercier powder, translucent powder, and let me use the sponge, and I will sort of define this contour and at the same time set my powder, set my foundation on my face. I'm not baking, I'm just setting it and sort of diffusing that harsh edge. Now I'm going to use the light wand, which is the highlighter. It's absolutely beautiful. Works exactly the same way. And I'm just going to put like 3 dots up here. And you can do it with your finger, you can do it with a beauty blender. Just gently. It's very natural, and it's a good base for your powder highlighter if you want your powder highlighter to intensify, but you could just leave it like that. Can you see? Okay, so now because these are creams, we have to set them with powder, otherwise they might move throughout the day. So my next favorite for this month has been the Tarte Park Ave Princess bronzer. I've had this bronzer for ages. I don't know if this is the, I think it's like a sample size. It looks quite small, I don't know. But I've picked it up at the beginning of the month, and I've been using it every day. So I am going just to go now over that contour to set it and intensify it a bit. And the same on my forehead. If you see that, you know, your forehead is a bit too brown or whatever, just go over with your beauty sponge with whatever you've got left of the foundation just to blend it. And now I'm going to go over that highlight. And my favorite this month has been this highlighting palette from Flower Beauty. So I don't like the brush. I must throw the brush away actually. I sometimes mix them all together, or I just use the pinkish one. Beautiful soft powders. Look at that. So lovely. Honestly, it could rival any high-end highlighter. This is Fan Brush. I might mix the pink with that champagne one, and I just like, look at that. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm going so lightly. It looks good. You know, I've used it without the Charlotte Tilbury thing as well, highlight wand, and it's just gorgeous. For my blush, I've been using the whole month the Jouer blush duo in Coquette. It's a beautiful light pink and darker pink. It's like a bearish pink. Absolutely love it. And now let me tell you, this brush from Real Techniques is my favorite for blush. I mix these two. I just go like that into them. Don't worry if it looks a bit, because if you notice, I'm doing it a bit different with the powdering and all that, so you will see in a minute. And now, it's all because I was doing this cream contour. Normally, you know, I set my whole face first after foundation, and then I go in with all the other powders. But now, to melt it all together and to set the rest of my face, I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder, another one of my favorite Real Techniques powder brushes, and I'm going almost like buff all of it in. So I'm going all over that contour, not going under my eyes anymore because I don't need to. So that is going to get rid of any harshness or anything. And these were my base favorites. And now I'm going to go and do my brows. My brows favorites haven't really changed. But if you want to see how I do my brows and what I use, I will link it here as well, and maybe at the end of the video. Okay, brows are done. Now, eyeshadows. This is interesting. So I will tell you first about my favorites. I leave the non-favorites for the end. But I tell you what I really have enjoyed this month is this little Sephora miniature palette, and mine is in Cookie. This little thing, I mean, it's not quality of Urban Decay, you know, or Natasha Denona or eyeshadows like this, but I absolutely love these colors. They come, I think, in 4 different color combinations. It's so easy. I've been using it every day, so you know, great palette to take away for a weekend. Great for beginners because you don't have to think much about it, and also because it is not so pigmented. If you are not experienced with eyeshadows and blending, you will find this very easy. I really, really like it. So for that reason, I chose this as my favorite because I've been using it the most. So let's do some looks with it. I mean, I've done a tutorial with it, so
start to ask me like, what you gonna do with all that green? I'm gonna feed my monkeys with it. They all hang out by the pool next to my backyard roller coaster.
okay, I also have been loving the Benefit liquid liners, and I particularly like this brown, beautiful liner, waterproof. I like the brown, it's quite dark brown, but it's not as harsh as black. I do just a thin line and I might wing it tiny bit at the end. This is not a proper wing liner, as that takes hours with hooded eyes. Okay, for my mascara, the Nars Climax is still my favorite, and I love topping it off with the roller lash. It's just the roller lash, because the brush is denser and smaller, I can really get into the root of my lashes. I'm going to take the Flower Beauty highlighting palette, and I will use this champagne one in my inner corner. Look at that. Honestly, this highlighting palette is amazing. Now for lips. I've been enjoying very much the Dose of Colors lip liners. I've got 3 here. I've got 2 Cool, which I love using because it's like a greyish purple, so I like using it like with my Queen Bee, you know, those greyish purpley lipsticks. Then I have Casual, which is your proper nude, you know. There it is. And then I have a bit more pinky one, which is called Delight. It's like a almost corally pink. So I am going to use today the Casual. They are not overly soft, which I quite like. You know, the soft ones can smudge everywhere, but they are quite long wearing. I sometimes mix it a bit with the Too Cool if I want it to be a bit darker. Just very lightly. And then the lipstick that I have been enjoying so much this month is the Clinique better than, I think, moisturizing lipstick in 01 Bare. And it's a lipstick that's got that moisturizer in the middle. It feels so velvety. And I've been back with that sort of look to my old favorite Nars Turkish Delight for gloss. Okay, I've just noticed that this highlight looks a bit blue, and I think that the little brush I used had blue, yeah, had blue eyeshadow on it. I thought, why is it looking so blue? God, that's not good. That's not what this highlighter looks like. Let's cover it up. Now there is far too much highlighter. Anyway, the brush had blue on it. Another favorite this month, of course, was the Gerrard Cosmetics Strawberry Fields. Is it Strawberry Fields? Strawberry Fields Hydro Matte lipstick. For as far as bright lipsticks go and matte lipsticks, this is wonderful. Another favorite drugstore foundation was the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation, and I've reviewed that as well. And my favorite lashes, which I did a video not long ago on, are the Ardel pre-cut lashes. They are so easy to apply, and what I love about them is that you don't have to apply the whole lot. You can just apply a bit in the corner. You can just apply 3 sections, 2 sections, so it's very flexible and very easy. So I'm going to apply probably just 2 sections on the outer portion of my eye. Okay, so these were my February favorites. Now let's go to regrets. First of all, these 2 foundations. The Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere foundation, I've reviewed it, didn't like it at all. And the Burberry Cashmere foundation, didn't like that at all. So these are my 2 big regrets because they are quite expensive. I probably will try to use them. I will mix them, you know, with some of my other foundations. I love mixing foundations. So another thing is that Sephora highlighter, which is called Delicate Glow. It looks absolutely beautiful, and when you swatch it, you can almost tell it's not, I mean, when you swatch it, everything looks nice, but it's not as smooth and becomes one with your skin like the Flower Beauty, for example. So I'm not really into it. Now, this might surprise you. It's not that they are fails, but they are sort of regrets. The Anastasia Soft Glow palette. Not because of the quality. The quality is amazing. I love Anastasia's eyeshadows. I love the modern renaissance. I think I just got a bit too excited because, like I told you, I bought in Sephora in Spain. We don't have Sephora here. So when you see them all in real life and swatch them, you get very excited, what I do. And to be honest, I don't feel, I've done, I think, 3 looks with this palette. I might do some more. I will still use it because, like I said, there is nothing wrong with the eyeshadows. It's beautiful. But when it comes to the colors, I mean, all these browns, I have hundreds of those. And the shimmers are nothing special. And I feel like every look that I do with this palette looks a bit the same. So if I had to buy again, I wouldn't. I will still use it, you know, it's not regret as such. I just didn't really need it. It's not that exciting. But if you are into your soft glam and you know, just natural, neutral colors, then you will love it. And then the Too Faced Rich palette. Again, I love Too Faced eyeshadows, and this one excited me so much with all these glitters. But again, you know, you have these browns, which I have plenty of. I probably could dupe it even with the Anastasia one. Don't really use shimmery black, don't really use that. And yet these are exciting, but you have to use glitter glue because they fall out a lot. So basically, if you buy in this palette, you buying it for these glitter shadows, because I'm sure you have all the rest of the matte ones. And you know, yeah, I would be better off to just buy a small palette of glitter eyeshadows. I still like it, and I still will do some looks with it, but it is sort of a regret. Now some brushes. I forgot to tell you about two favorite brushes that I bought in February, and these were the Real Techniques Pop Duo, I think. And these are eye brushes. They are slightly slanted, you know. So this bigger one is amazing for applying all over eyeshadow. You can use it for setting under your eyes. This little one, it's amazing for your outer 7. It's got beautiful shape, and I use it for that a lot. Now, these Real Techniques brushes, I bought them because I saw them on YouTube, and also I thought they are so different. The powder brush is okay, I quite like it, but this one, I don't know. Maybe it is because the shape is so different, I'm not used to it, but they didn't wow me as much. And then my biggest regret were these, and these are the Smashbox, you know, the same shape brushes. I thought that would be fantastic for applying your powder, but I'm not really using them, and they are expensive. I thought that they are quite stiff, you know. I thought because like for applying powder or highlighter, you want something very, very fluffy, not too dense, because then you will apply too much. And these are quite dense, so I will use them, but I would not buy them again. Okay, my lovelies, so these were my February favorites and regrets. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and stay fabulous. Bye.